Hi, welcome to episode 22 for What It's Worth Coaching Podcast. I'm Coach Tighe, and as always, I'm here with...
Coach Hines. That was good.
Yeah, it actually finally worked out this time, huh?
Coach Tighe is getting smoother and smoother, but I interrupted you. Keep going.
No, I'm good right now. So today, we just kind of winged it. Kind of like we do most of our podcasts.
Most of our podcasts. So last episode, on episode 21, we had the Corey Proctor from the Dallas Cowboys. Now, he played for 3 teams, but Dallas Cowboys are what really tore at my heartstrings.
But he didn't play for a real team yet. The 49ers.
The real team. We had a portion of that episode where we kind of did a rapid fire questions for him. Didn't want to have too much thought, but just right off the bat, what came to his mind. So we enjoyed it. I think he enjoyed it. And Coach Tighe and I decided that we're going to do the same thing.
I think you always just like putting me on the spot. Because it seems like every
100%.
podcast that we do, there's a podcast right on Coach Tighe.
Yes, it's becoming less enjoyable for me though because you're getting better and better.
I don't know about that.
You are. Excuse me. So during COVID, the beginning of spring last year, I had this old football helmet laying around in the garage doing nothing. So I decided to paint it and just throw some words on there and just make it a little bit decorative art.
Right.
And Coach Tighe, I think I'm going to give credit to you because you mentioned one time there'd be a good topic to talk about these.
Right, definitely.
So that's what we're going to do now. I'm actually going to hand this over to Coach Tighe, let him choose whatever word. It's a little dusty. Choose whatever word he wants. And rapid fire, I'm going to talk briefly about what that word means to me, bounce it back to him, and then we'll keep going back and forth for a little bit.
Definitely. And you know what I like about it is everything that you've put on that helmet, when I coached with you, you've talked about that at one time or another during the season. And I think it does empower a lot for young athletes and coaches when they do walk out into the field or the practice field or even when they're in the classroom setting.
Agreed.
So,
Appreciate
cool.
it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hand this to you.
All right.
Give Coach a second to turn it around, find a word, and I'll talk about it.
Well, the thing is, all these are going to be really easy for you because, Coach has been very active on Twitter. So here we go. Let's go with student athlete.
Student athlete. So that I think applies to all sports. My initial reaction is I didn't play football in 8th grade because my parents had told me if I didn't get my D up to a C, I wasn't playing football. I don't know why I didn't believe them. I think I've talked in this before, so I'll make it short. But my D not only didn't go up to a C, dropped to an F.
Ooh.
And I thought for a year I hated my parents. I really did. In hindsight, it's one of the best things that they taught me about the importance of being a student athlete. And now I know both of us have tremendous platforms and opportunities to talk to our young men and young women about the games we love are a gift.
Right.
And those playing days are going to come to an end, and it's so much more than just a sport. You need to be a student athlete, not just to be eligible to play, but to put yourself in a position later on in life to be successful.
Definitely. You definitely want to make sure you're that student first because, like you said, that your sport is going to end at some point or another. Whether you go on to the next level of college or you go on to the pros, at some point you're going to need to do something else. And, that goes to show last week when we talked to Corey, he went into the financial field after his years of playing football, which is good. He had a background in it, and that's what he did in his major was in college, so he followed through on it. And you need that back, you need that, what is it called? Plan B, I would say.
Plan B, or even make that part of your plan A.
Yeah, definitely.
To be that student athlete, absolutely.
To keep it all rolling.
Well done. So I'm gonna turn this one over to you. Embrace the corner.
Embrace the corner.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I remember this one. This was your big halftime speech.
Yes, it was.
Embrace the corner, and I love it. And because it has so many different meanings to it to me. In the sporting field, you're backed into a corner, you're playing, you could be one of the, I wouldn't say worst teams, but a low team playing one of the best teams, and you're backed into a corner. And all you have left is to fight. Fight out of that corner, move out of that corner. And that's in life, period, too. You're going to have these hard times where you're going to be tested, whether in your faith, whether in your marriage or your parenting skills. You got to be able to fight for that and bring it back and know that, okay, that there's a way out of it, and giving up and rolling over is not an option.
Amen. And I'll add briefly to that. Once again, we're going to go back and forth. When I give a word to Coach Tighe or he gives one to me, we'll speak longer, and then the other one will kind of add a little bit more. I read a quote once, not my own, don't remember what it was, but it said the most dangerous thing is a man on a mission backed in a corner.
Yeah.
And I love that because it talks for me about everything you just mentioned in all aspects of life.
Yeah, that's awesome. You talked that. Oh, this one, burn the ships.
Yeah, so this one I learned, so Coach Tighe, a lot of you may remember, we've talked about every so often, not only is a firefighter now, which we love and appreciate and respect, but is retired from the Navy a few years ago. And when I gave that backed in the corner speech to my team, Coach Wink, who just left our program for a different job opportunity on the East Coast, he also was in the Navy for years.
Yes.
And told a story about I believe it was a Chinese leader or something like that during wartime. I don't know all the details of the story, but as he shared with me, they made it to a certain island to fight this battle, and his men were afraid, and he saw the fear in their eyes, he saw the desire to retreat, and he ordered that his ships be burned so that there was no retreat.
Wow.
And I love that. Now, I don't know if there's a little bit of truth behind that story, if it's actually completely factual or not, but just the mental image for me, if I'm on an island and there's a war to be fought, and I know there's an escape, I may not give it my all. If I know those ships are burned and there's no retreating, it's a different type of fight.
Wow. I actually picked that one because I have nothing for it.
Fantastic.
I was to burn the ships. I was wondering, okay, where are we going with that one?
Well played.
So that was good. So I have nothing to add on to that or rebuttal on that one.
Fantastic.
So now it's back to you.
I'm going to go to one that's near and dear to my heart. Right here by the ear hole, serve.
Serve.
What's that mean to you in sports and life?
Serve. It means so much. It means a lot to me. I really don't have any words. That's why I don't like these on the spot things, because it's tough. But serving, I think a lot of people go into sports or their lifestyles or their jobs just thinking about themselves. And one thing you can do is, one way to serve is leadership in your team. Not only being a voice, be an example, be there picking up the equipment afterwards, showing that good example of service in your I don't know what I'm trying to say, in your team, but also going out to the community and serving out there and showing like, okay, we're not just a football team or baseball team or high school here. We're out in the community. We want to be a part of that community and serving out that way.
Yeah, and one of the things, and Coach Tighe and I have a great relationship, and we'll bust each other's chops, but since I've known you, Coach, you've always done service projects, whether it's for your mother, a family brother, a family member, whether it's us helping out a friend at church, taking down something or setting something up. The greatest leaders, in my opinion, are servant leaders. And for us, Coach Tighe and I, from time to time, talk about our faith without being preachy to people. But the greatest leader of all time, Jesus Christ, came here for one purpose, and that was to die for us and to serve us and teach us. So that's a powerful thing.
Definitely.
Yeah. So you're up next. Yes,
all
sir.
Right. Cool. Let's go. You're good at that one. Intensity.
Intensity, man. I've said often to people that I am an expert in nothing, but I'm passionate about most things. When I think of intensity, I just think about training, I think about coaching, I think about playing. I yell and scream all the time, and it's never derogatory, it's never at someone more than to empower them and lift them up. But I feel like I'm a pretty intense person, and that's just doesn't make you better or worse than anyone. It's just who I am.
Definitely, I agree, man. When I'm on a baseball field, I'm pretty intense, and in fact, sometimes I have to pull kids aside and just let them know, hey, when I come to you like this is when we're really talking. This is something, you either did something wrong or I'm coaching you. When I'm yelling and screaming, that's my passion of the game. That's my intensity, and I want you to show that same intensity out on the field. Yeah. That's what I show. You're not in trouble. I really love this game so much, and I love seeing everyone give it their 100%, and that fuels me. Yeah. Their intensity fuels my intensity, and it goes back and forth. and people probably think there's a bunch of crazy people running around the field after a while, but it's fun. You make it fun. The kids are into it. The players into it. The parents start getting into it. You get into it, and it makes the game that much more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I picked that one.
All right. I'm going to go with more than a game. I think our whole podcast is based on this right up front. More than a game.
100%. And thanks for that. That's a nice pitch.
Yeah,
that's a nice little easy pitch. More than a game, definitely. There's so many life lessons in football, baseball, track, lacrosse. I can name all the sports. There's more than just learning the X's and O's, bunt coverages, soccer defense or whatever. But there's more to that game that brings you to the game of life.
Yeah.
Even though it's not really a game, it's real reality, and you can bring a lot of what you learn as far as hard work, showing up on time, being a leader, interpersonal skills with other teammates, whether they're the best teammate on there or the bench warmer. There's so many aspects of that game. So and then as a coach too, you just learn your kids, and you get to go out into the community and coach up the community too. It's kind of fun.
Well said.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't feel like I need to add anything to that, but just I've often said to our assistant coaches when I've been blessed to be a head coach, and I tell our players, if the only thing we do is make them better athletes, we're failing them. Definitely. Miserably. We want to win games, but more importantly, we want to win people's hearts and help them win in life.
Definitely.
Fantastic. I kind of like this. I'm not going to feel guilty now when we put future guests on the spot.
Right.
Because like we tell our players, we're practicing what we preach. It's a little uncomfortable.
It is very uncomfortable.
See, I said a little uncomfortable. Coach said very. But he's doing great.
Yeah. Focus more on the person than you do on the player.
Yeah. For me, this is a huge one. I've been blessed over the years I've coached to coach with some great coaches who focus on the people first, players second. I've also coached with some individuals who use players as pawns and don't build the relationships and only see them as that game piece to move around the board, if you will, to win games, to win rings, and to kind of stack up their resume.
Yep.
And for me, it's all about relationships. I know for us, it's all about relationships. It's about connecting with and empowering and loving people who happen to be players.
Definitely.
Not players who we see, that's right, that is a person.
Right. Yeah, I think we've talked a lot about this over the podcasts, and especially with our interview with Corey last week. We asked him who was his favorite coach, all levels, and he came up with his freshman coach.
Loved it.
And I think it's because that freshman coach actually sat down and got to know him and found out what was going on in his life outside of football. And that's very important because, you never know what's going on at home. You never know what's going on, their relationship status during high school. It's a very trying time for kids, especially in the high school. They're starting to learn who they are. They're starting to learn what they like, how to live their life, becoming young men and young women in society. And there's a lot to learn. And some deal with it well, and some don't do very well with it. So it's our job as coaches to really see it, especially when they're not performing well and you can pull the best out of them. And sometimes getting to know them is better than getting on them on the field.
Absolutely.
Yes! Perfect timing.
I need to turn my phone off for a second, but excuse me. So,
so I can cut this out.
There we go. I think we keep it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's not on the helmet, but if we had to put one song on there,
Yeah.
Back in Black by AC/DC, one of the greatest
I want
songs.
to work out now.
Oh, right?
Yeah. Your turn.
My turn. I'm going to go to one of my favorite words, and it's one of the reasons I made it largest here on the helmet. But this word right here, empower.
Empower.
What does that mean to you, Coach?
No, to me, is as a coach, you want to empower your players to take on the responsibility for themselves, because a lot of times I told kids or my baseball players sometimes, I'm here to facilitate you, especially in high school. This is your sport. This is your team. This is your field. I'm empowering you to take care of it. I'm gonna facilitate everything. I'm gonna get on you when you need to get on, because I don't want the field that we worked so hard on go to trash. I want to pull everything out of you I can, as far as you as a student, as a player, and then also as just a good person in life. And you just empower them. You don't have to nag them all the time. You just, hey, you're empowered to do this. I'm not allowing you to do it, but I'm giving you the opportunity to empower yourself and take on that responsibility.
Love that. Love that. And for me, you know, I think we don't know what light is really like until we've been in the darkness.
Correct.
We don't know what great success feels like until we've faced great failure. And you can use all the different analogies. For me, the difference between empowerment or the opposite of that is enabling. And we don't want to force our young men and young women to do well in school.
Right.
We don't want to force them and give them all the answers. But when you can create that burning desire, so it comes from themselves,
Definitely.
to want to get up a little earlier to work out,
Right.
to eat a little bit more to fuel their body, to study a little bit longer than they would have, and you truly empower someone, that's when you know it's lasting. I had read years ago, once again, not my own, but I had read years ago a quote that said, you know, motivation doesn't last. And then it said either does showering, that's why we do it daily. You know, and it's people can knock motivation or inspiration or whatever. I think there's great power in both those things, but when you empower someone, I feel like you're giving them a gift that can be with them forever.
Definitely. Actually, I want to add on to that. You know, empowering, you're allowing them to fail too.
Yes.
It's like failure can be empowering. You know, if they fail, they're like, Coach, I messed up, and like, yeah, what are you going to do about it? You're empowering them to come up with a solution to fix it, or whatever in life. Because I do it with my own kids too. They'll fail. So my oldest just graduated college, and there's certain things he's done, and you know, he'll tell me what he did. And I say, well, what are you going to do about it? Not telling them what to do,
Right.
but empowering them to come up with a solution. Maybe they missed the ground ball. Coach, I want to get another 100 ground balls or whatever. Then empowering, okay, I'll hit it for you and hit you ground balls to fix what he was doing wrong.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Let's do 2 or 3 more.
Okay, sounds
Fantastic.
good. I think Jillian's here.
So Jill went shopping, and then she knew we were doing this. She knew we were doing the podcast. I saw her sneak in, open the door for a second, and close it for a second. I hope she knows she can come in.
Yeah.
Or she might be waiting for us to bring the groceries in.
Ooh.
I'm hoping she comes in.
Me too. Be the difference.
Yeah. What did I mean when I put that? I think whenever we walk into a room, we can just kind of melt in. And a lot of people, it's not a bad thing, but a lot of people feel much more comfortable just kind of melting in with the crowd and kind of quietly coming in. I'm not saying to come in like a bull in a china shop and to disrupt everything, but we were sent here, in my opinion, not to fit in, but to make a difference in the life. And now, you know, Coach and I, off camera, we'll talk politics from time to time, and we're going to keep that between us and not share our views on here. But there's so much hate in the world. There's so much from all parties, all sides. There's so much negativity, and I think often so many of us talk about what we want to see in leadership, what we want to see from this side or that side or whatever. Be the difference.
Yeah.
If you want to see more positivity, be that difference. If you want to see more love and light and all whatever it is, be that person.
Yeah, definitely. You're going back to what you originally started saying. You know, I know a lot of kids come in and they're not too sure, but you know, when you come and be a difference, you don't have to come in, you know, like you said, blazing and loud and obnoxious or whatever. You know, you don't have to be that cheerleader, but hard work.
Yeah.
You know, just go in and like push those. You know, you don't have to say anything. Just push some weight. Work hard in there. Work up a sweat. You know, and work real hard. So that's a difference. Just, you know, leading by example. You know, we talked about that a couple podcasts ago, but I think that's one way of being different, being the difference, I guess.
Love it. I'm gonna let you hold on to that, but I'm gonna go to one that's also, I think all of these are near and dear to me. But know your why.
Know your why. Definitely, that's important, because everyone needs a why, no matter what you do in life. You know, why am I doing this? Why am I with this woman? You know, especially with marriage or
He's talking about his wife. He's
yeah,
not
love her.
referring to
Love
me
her
as
to
a
death.
woman.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Oh, think with the right filter. But I think know your why, and that goes to service. It's like having a mission statement for a business. You know, you make decisions based upon your why or your mission statement. If it doesn't go back to your why or support your why, then it's probably a bad decision.
Yep. And you probably won't last.
Probably not at
for
all.
me, you know, I get asked often. I know we both do. You know, some advice I would give a new coach or a younger coach, and that's one of the first things I share is just to know their why. You know, if my why is just to win games, I may not last long in any sport.
Definitely.
Because if you're going to be successful, you've got to hit those peaks and valleys, and you've got to be in it for the long haul. If my why is to truly empower people and make a difference in their lives, you can do that in any sport, any part of the United States or the world, at any level.
Definitely. Is it my turn again?
It is. Well, it's your turn as you look for one, but the pressure's off you.
Yeah,
You just need to
I'm
find
just
one.
excited. I'm running out of my words. Okay, this one's a good one. Okay, it'll add on to what we were talking about. If the only thing we do as coaches is help our players to become better athletes, we have failed them miserably. You just said that. I told
Yeah,
you.
I did. So I won't even add on to that one.
I think we're done with that.
I believe that to my core.
It's funny because I think a lot of our answers have included all these words. You know what? You want to make this the last one?
Yeah.
I think this is a good one to end on.
Fantastic.
Faith, family, and football.
Love that. And I, with little respect in my heart here, we'll go faith, family, sports.
Oh, yes.
Faith, family, baseball.
Baseball.
Too many coaches, I think, lose what's most important. And they want to win that championship. They want to win that ring. And they forget why they got into coaching in the first place.
Right.
And I think for me, faith and family are really encompassing, one another. You don't want to put your sport that you coach or those you're blessed to coach above the people you come home to every day, or you're going to lose those people that you came home to.
Definitely. And I think it shows the character of you as a coach too, when you put your faith and your family in for it. It shows the importance. Even though the players on that team are important and near and dear to your heart, your faith and your family are number one. And you show them that. Hopefully they see it and they go home. And when they have families, they show that to their families.
Yeah.
And it's very important, especially nowadays when I think there's a big attack on family, period. But you can show how strong a family atmosphere is, and they can go on in their lives and bring that family atmosphere to their lives.
Love it. And the last thing I'll say before we give our shout outs here to our sponsors is now I almost drew a blank here. I said almost, but I did draw a blank. As far as our faith, I love reading. Another quote I read that's not mine, which there are a lot of them that aren't mine. I give credit when they are other people's. But I read once that says, always preach the gospel, and when necessary, use words. As coaches, I think sometimes coaches say, well, I'm in a public school where I'm coaching in a public school. I know coaches also can't share our faith. We can share our faith every single day, and we don't have to mention the word Christ or
Right.
God.
Definitely.
It's in the way we coach up. It's in the way we love our players. It's in the way, as you mentioned, where we embrace their failures and coach them up instead of getting on them and writing them off.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest things too is when you roll into church and you walk in there and you see a player there with their family, like, Coach, I didn't know you go to church here. I was like, yeah. And it shows them, okay, your faith,
And I think for a lot of young men and young women, especially in that high school age when so many people are still trying to find themselves, if they have a certain level of respect for us as coaches, kind of makes it cooler.
Yes.
Like, wow, Coach is open about his faith also, and he comes here and worships, and love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Love it.
It's awesome. So I think we're going to wrap it up right there.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we'll go ahead and give some shout outs to our two sponsors. Sponsor that I have is Muertos Coffee. If you love drinking coffee as much as I do, go check out muertoscoffeeco.com. Put in code SDFD25 and you get a 15% discount. I really like coffee. I've subscribed to it, so I get my two pounds every 2 weeks. So my wife absolutely enjoys it, and what's cool about Muertos Coffee is that they give back to the community. They give back to breast cancer awareness. They give back to fire departments throughout with their cancer awareness programs. So it's not just a coffee company, it's actually a community-oriented company that wants to give back with really delicious coffee.
Well said. And I think for both of our companies, especially in today's day and age with all that's going on in the world with COVID and businesses being shut down, any opportunity we have to support local and smaller companies
Definitely.
that have a mission is fantastic.
Yeah.
For us, it's GameStrat. It is an instant replay company that we've used for a few years now at Coronado Football, where we get sideline and end zone instant replay, and they're phenomenal. The product is phenomenal. The customer service is top notch. And if you haven't checked them out, check them out. Let them know Coach Hines sent you. And I can't promise you'll get any discounts, but they might laugh and tell a few stories. Tell a few stories of when they visited. So as always, take it for what it's worth.
Stay strong.